And it was a very successful event. So that's kind of the nice thing about running for election and taking some time off work, is that you really have a chance to try things that you've always wanted to do, but just haven't had an opportunity. And then in terms of actually like getting elected on E-Day, that's what they call election day. It's E-Day. It is really all about voter turnout. So I am depending on you guys to basically grab 5 friends and bring them to a polling station, and you need to be able to tell them why it is that you're supporting my campaign, right? Because and you know, I guess it's pretty simple. This is I'm a police officer who, while off duty, has opposed the war on drugs continuously, publicly, in a very vocal but diplomatic way. And I want to make some changes to the substance abuse policy in this school district. So I'm really going to be depending on you guys. As a new candidate, I'm really the underdog. In 2008, in the last school board elections, there were only one new person got elected out of all the challengers. So you know, when you're an incumbent, when you're already in office, you really have a strong advantage. And I think they say something like only 25% of new candidates actually get elected at the end of the day. I've run a strong campaign and a positive campaign, I think, but it's still sort of not a certain, it's not a done deal at all, and I'm really going to be depending on your help on election day. So let's take a moment at this point, and I'm curious if you guys have any questions or if there's specific topics, Ted, that you want me to address, and I can kind of go from there. In the back, yes?
I just have a question. I'm like, where do you vote? Is there a place to go? Or?
Yeah, what area do you live?
Well, I'm on campus.
On campus? Okay. I don't think that they have a dedicated polling station on campus.
But I can drive to anywhere.
Okay. Usually it's going to be at a school, so I can probably pull it up on my iPhone here in just a second, or maybe as we finish up. But basically, the polling stations are at schools this time around. And I know, for example, Reynolds Secondary is a polling station. George J. Elementary is a polling station if any of you guys live downtown. And a couple of more will come to me in a second. On Saturday, the polls are going to be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if I was, what you guys should do is bring 2 pieces of identification with you, and one of them, or you should at least have some documentation with you, like a phone bill or a hydro bill or something like that that shows your address, because you just need to be able to prove that you sort of live in this district. So, and as long as you've lived within the boundaries of the Greater Victoria School District for the past 30 days, then you'll be able to vote in the election. And I think there might be a residency requirement that you've resided in British Columbia for 6 months. But even if you can't, even if you're ineligible to vote, for example, because you're a student and you just moved here to British Columbia in September, you can still rally your friends and bring them down to a polling station and encourage them to vote. And the Greater Victoria School District is actually quite a large district. Like, it includes sort of the southern half of Saanich, everything below Royal Oak. It includes Victoria, Esquimalt, Hope Bay, New Royal, parts of the Highlands. I haven't done much campaigning out there, but they are within the boundaries of the district. So if you're anywhere in there, then you can vote. So, and mathematically, there's some people get into a polling station, and it says vote for up to 9, and sometimes people feel compelled that they have to vote for 9, or that they have to vote for 8 city council candidates, but that's not the case. So you can vote for as few as 1 if that's what you prefer, or more. The choice is up to you. But if you vote for less than 9, like if you're just comfortable voting for 4 or 5 candidates, then that actually increases the sort of the power of your vote, right? If you vote for a full 9, it kind of dilutes it, your vote really sort of becomes less valuable. So, other questions?
What's the status of C10? I know, but if
okay.
You just give people a heads up.
Yeah, that's a good question. It is, it hasn't passed.
No, I
Yeah.
think it's still in its first reading. Or
It's-
did it go through its first reading? No, it's been through first reading, but
Right.
it's to committee.
It's in a committee right now, so and that's a frustrating bill. Denise Savoie spoke about it when she came to this campaign event at Alex Golden Hall, and what she's been doing a really good job in terms of organizing a letter writing campaign. And she, at this event that she came to, she really encouraged people. I'm sure many of you have already done it, but she was encouraging people to write letters to the federal government and expressing their concerns about the bill. And the interesting thing about Bill C-10 is basically has 9 parts to it. And obviously there's one part that I'm sure everybody in this room is very concerned about, and that is the part that talks about mandatory minimum sentences for low-level drug offenders. And even though the federal government has framed it as this is a bill that's going to target organized crime, yada, 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 what we know from past experience, especially down in the United States, is that what these mandatory minimum sentences do is they really sort of catch the low-hanging fruit, right? It's not, first of all, if you're a drug kingpin in Canada and you get charged criminally after some kind of extensive criminal investigation, you're going to get more than the mandatory minimum sentence anyway. What these mandatory minimum sentences will do, though, is really ensnare sort of very low level, like college students or, one example I like to use is just, say a couple, for example, who are in some kind of custody dispute over the child, and, one spouse knows that the other spouse has a couple of marijuana plants in the basement, and all of a sudden that becomes a tool in the custody dispute. Or you'll get these landlord, a landlord who wants to evict his tenants and jack up the rent. He's going to call the police and report some kind of suspicious plant on the windowsill, suggesting that it's cannabis, and framing that as drug intelligence as a way of getting the police in to investigate and harass tenants and encourage them to move out and things like that. And I think you'll see, once this legislation comes into effect, I think you'll see unsavory people using points of this legislation like that for misguided purposes. So there are a lot of issues with this bill, and I've certainly, in my view, as a school trustee candidate, to me this legislation is not tough on crime. It's tough on schools. It's tough on hospitals, because at the end of the day, the federal government can pass whatever legislation it is that they want, but it is the provinces that have to pay for the costs of that legislation, because it's the provinces that pay for the courts, for the prisons, and for the policing. So my concern really is that the provinces are going to be forced to spend billions of dollars on incarceration as opposed to education, and in any event, this increased levels of incarceration is not going to reduce the levels of crime, disease, death, or addiction that we see in our society. So, but in terms of the actual status of the bill, I've been in full-fledged campaign mode. I'm absolutely committed to winning this election. I've really put my heart into it, and my goal is really part of my goal really is I just want to set an example in the world of drug policy reform to show that a candidate who supports drug policy reform can get elected, right? And we have had some examples of that in Victoria and around the world, but having one more example of that certainly doesn't hurt. And so for me to go into one of the most sensitive areas, one of the most sensitive political arenas, which is children's education, and to run a professional, comprehensive campaign based on legitimate issues and hopefully succeed, with your help on election day, I think will be very special and very beneficial to our movement. So.
Right on. Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much, and we certainly all wish you the best in that. And for those that want to help on the street Saturday, because what I've learned having run in an election myself is, the majority of people in Victoria and the school district would likely support Dave's motives, but they don't all remember to vote. And so what we need to do is on Saturday just get people to go vote. So we're going to be on the street corner of Douglas and Johnson from about noon to 4 with our sign here and a couple of others to get attention. And we're just going to be encouraging people to go vote. City Hall, I believe, is a place you can vote in downtown Victoria, and it's right there. But yeah, we're going to be on the corner of Douglas and Johnson for the 4 hours on Saturday, just trying to get people to go vote that day and plugging them up until then as well. So best of luck.
Yeah, and I'll just say, because I know I do appreciate the support, and there are some rules in terms of campaigning on election day. So mainly, the main things to remember are just that you can't campaign within 100 meters of a polling station. That's the so just do the math in terms of how far it is from City Hall, if City Hall is a polling station. But that's kind of the big one. If you're in the like, it's okay to hand this out to people as long as you're not doing it within that 100 meters. But you can't leave any campaign material in the actual voting booth or at the polling station. And if you go there, you can't wear any badges or anything that say like vote Bratzer or anything like that. But so yeah, just a couple of things to remember on Saturday. But I do appreciate your help, and with your help, certainly I will get elected. So thank you.
And just a small fraction. Thanks. Cheers. Okay, and best of luck with everything. See you soon. Okay, folks, so one more reminder, we aren't here next week. We're being moved. Just for 1 week, we're going to be just down the hall at Cinecenter in the theater there. So try to get the word out about that. And a couple more lectures, and the semester's over. Man, it goes quick. Thanks everybody for coming out. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.